We are here in the Connection Circle with Ann Allen, and she's so amazing. I'm so excited about this talk today. And I'm going to give her an opportunity to, give her bio and proper introduction, but she is a grief healer. She's tuned into, her spirit guides and other amazing things. And that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to give the floor to you, Anne, and let you give your bio.
Well, thanks so much, Lynn. I really appreciate the introduction. So I'd like to just be very clear about what my real title is.
Okay.
I'm an advanced grief recovery specialist. So I actually specialize solely as far as that part of what I do with grief recovery. And as far as the energy side, that is offered as an additional support to people who might want the woo-woo package. I started over 15 years ago now as a grief recovery specialist, and it's just an amazing process. It's helped so many people, or a program, I should say, rather than process. When I developed my own business, down the road a little bit, I was like, well, what am I going to do? What should I do? And it's like, well, I really love the grief recovery. So yeah, we'll do that. But I also love the energy side. How can I put those two together? There are people who come to me who do not like energy work or anything like that. And then we just do the grief recovery program, which is just incredible on its own. And then and we do life coaching with them as an emotional support. And there are those who actually do like the energy support, so that's what they go for.
I love that. And it's so true. We shouldn't box ourselves into just one gift. I mean, we are incredible beings and we have many gifts, and to be able to offer that to, your clients and others is amazing. And to give them that autonomy to decide whether or not they want to go into the hippie woo-woo stuff. I experienced that too with my clients. I mean, I can go in different directions, but I certainly agree with you that it has to be on their comfort level. I just have so many questions for you.
Off you go.
Okay, awesome. So I think the work that you're doing in terms of the grief aspect of it is so needed.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of coaches, I believe, don't really go into that field because it's challenging. I mean, let's face it, it can be a little challenging just on an emotional aspect. If I think it from my perspective. And
lovely to meet you. I'm so sorry. I was just charging my phone, explaining to Lynn that my phone is on 10%. So having a little chat.
That's okay. We're happy to have you here, Erin. Where are you coming from?
So I'm coming from North Wales in the UK. It's nighttime over here, probably not as warm as it is up there for yourself. Where are you from, Anne?
Okay. Sometimes I don't hear my name. It sounds like and. People are saying and in a conversation. I'm from Vancouver, Washington, just above Portland, Oregon.
Okay. Very nice.
Yeah, we're all in different places, right? So I'm coming from Idaho, Riggins, Idaho, and I don't usually mention that very often. So now people know. Now they know where to find me. I don't know if that's a good thing. I want to get you caught up, Erin, and I know there's going to be moments because we are on Zoom and we're all on this Wi-Fi. It will kind of go in and out, I'm sure, but I'll try to guide us a little bit. And Erin, we were just discussing what Anne does. And Anne, forgive me, can you share that again a little bit with Erin so she gets caught up on what your programs are about?
Oh, so I'm an advanced grief recovery specialist specializing in grief recovery. It's a program that I work with my people, and I offer life coaching as emotional support that goes along with that. And for those of them who want the woo-woo side of it, I do energy healing with them, and that can be all the way from channeling messages, it can be doing oracle card readings, it can be just offering them energy healing, whatever it is that they might be needing. So I like to be able to offer a variety of ways that I can support them emotionally, and it can be through Reiki, or as I said, just channeled energy. I also channel segment energy, and most recently, dolphin and whale energy.
Dolphin and whale energy, wow. That's so interesting. What does that entail?
Just me tapping in and allowing them to channel through me. I'm just always the conduit.
I love that. Do you have to physically be near them or in water? No. Wow. That's fascinating. I love that.
And the cool thing is that with most forms of energy healing or energy work, whatever you want to call it, we're calling on the universal energy. But with dolphins and whales, what is so cool about it is that they are alive on this planet, and they are channeling their energy from their collective here, plus also the universal energy. So it's pretty cool stuff.
Wow.
That's awesome. I love that. You have so many gifts to offer, and it seems like that is so how do I want to put this? Like, it just seems like it would be a possibility because we are essentially 70% water, and it makes sense that we would be connected to these water animals. And dolphins and whales are very highly intelligent. So that is, wow, that's incredible. So before you jumped on, Erin, we were kind of discussing like different clients and what their, needs and wants and what they're open to. I think that it may be a very limited pool of coaches that do this kind of grief work. And I just want to commend you, Anne, for really, doing this work. It's incredible. Could you share some stories and success stories?
Oh, absolutely. And thank you for just, first of all, for helping to bring out awareness to people that there is help around grief, because one of the hardest things for people is to understand that what they're going through is normal and natural, and people can have incredibly intense emotions and have a deal of shame and guilt, and it just further isolates them. If you are deeply involved in your grief, or you're triggered by grief from decades ago, whatever it might be, all grief is unresolved until you actually work with it. It's not pleasant, but they are normal and natural. I've had people come to me and say, thank you. You helped me in ways I can't even imagine. I've had people who tell me with the first anniversary after they've done the grief work, this used to be a day for me that was just surrounded in so much pain and sadness, and now it can be a day of celebration. So things like that really, really, it's my bonus, if you will.
Yes. I love that. How do you kind of initiate that coaching process?
That's a great question. So I always start off with a 30-minute call with anybody who's interested in doing, because there's a couple of things I'm looking for. First of all, are we a good fit? Because we're going to be going deep. So I have to make sure that you feel safe and comfortable with me, and I feel safe and comfortable with you. And then I'm going to ask a series of in-depth questions, and I'm listening for some certain answers to make sure that the people are ready to do the work. Now, it's really important that people understand this is not therapy that I do. This is not sit and talk about it. This is actually an action-based program. So I work with one-on-one people for 10 weeks. I also offer groups, and I also do pet loss as well. We get very clear about what grief and loss really is. You might be surprised. I like to show it from a perspective that makes a lot of sense. And that's actually what all of this is based on very, very simple perspectives, but things that we may not have thought about before. What you're feeling and what you're going through is normal and natural, and there's nothing wrong with you. You're not broken, but you probably do have a broken heart. So we get very clear about what grief and loss really is, and then we do an in-depth dive. We have a look at what grief and loss you've been dealing with in your life, and then we choose a relationship to work on, and then we follow through with that to the end of the program.
Oh, that's incredible. It couldn't get any better than that. Let's face it, we all suffer loss.
Yes.
And right throughout our lifetime, and we don't know how to navigate that. This is such an incredible offer that you're giving people the guidance to work through that grief and get on the other side of it, and to be able to live a happy and productive life. And I just that just touches my heart. I love it.
Well, you bring up a very good point. If I might also add, you said, we don't go to a class on grief at school. We don't go to, nobody takes us aside and says, this is how you grieve. We're shown through actions, inactions, gestures, prompts, memories, all of these things. We look to our authority figures such as parents, grandparents, peers, colleagues, and usually what they do is stuff that they've been taught. And I'm sorry, I'm going to make a bold statement, but it's really not very helpful. What I love about what I do, and the reason I've been doing it so long, is because it is simple. It's not easy because, we do have to do the work, but it is very simple. And the most important thing is that you get tools that you can use for the rest of your life as each and every loss comes up, and they work every single time. So that's why I love
Awesome. So if someone works with you and they're successful, and then they experience another loss, then they can come back and work with you again to work through that.
Yeah, and that's just like 2 sessions because they've already done all the pre-work, and it's much less of a burden for them to have to go, and they already know what they're doing, and they can be prepared.
That makes sense. That makes total sense. I love that. So, and Erin, if you have any questions, feel free to jump in. I have a tendency to just talk a lot, but I want to get into a little more about the hippie woo-woo side. Because I'm all about spirituality and energy, and how we are totally these energy, beings in these bodies, and we're connected on certain frequencies. I don't know. I find that so intriguing that you are tuned in to these different, I don't know, maybe I'm saying it wrong. You can correct me, but your higher self or spirit guides or whatever. And then of course, dolphins and whales. And so tell us more about that.
What do you want to know? And I think it's wonderful if I can just share with our audience here that you and I connected via phone just before this, and there was a time glitch via Zoom, and I truly believe that's where it brought us together so that we could all meet at this one time, which is, there are no coincidences. But what I love, it's a journey of just really awareness. I think people talk about us waking up, and people can tend to get very deep into the subject, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But the main motto I live my life by is keep it simple, keep it real. And I tend not to go deep, 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 because that's not what my soul or my nature requires. So I sit and just feel and let it come in, and I'm guided like that. And I find that is the best way for me. Where other people, they like to go into deep immersive studies, that's wonderful too. And I tend to be nerdy, so I can get really caught up in the whole science of things. I'm very interested in quantum, and the more you sit with it, the simpler it actually becomes. It's all about possibilities is how I see it. So I think there's just so much awareness on the planet, and I find my own personal way of dealing with that is just to sit in a state of being open and receptive.
I mean, it does require that you open yourself up to receive. and to tune into the frequencies of the universe and source, however, you label that. That's awesome. And we were kind of talking on the phone a little bit about energy. And I love how you mentioned that you like to keep it simple, because people do have a tendency to convolute all of this. And there are moments where I've done that and I've become a bit overwhelmed by it. And so I think the simplest way for me, and I don't know how you handle this, but for me, it's to meditate every morning and to get grounded and to kind of just let it all go and not be in the mind and have all this, what I call the critter brain going on, and to just sit with it, and keep it simple and not be overwhelmed by it. So, I love that. So tell us a little bit more about tuning into whales and dolphins. Does that happen with certain clients, or it just, when does it happen for you?
I love that question. I do want to just say something before I talk about that. I think part of what we do as light workers, as healers, however you want to call us, those of us who are coming into a new way of being, a new awareness, I think it's really important to give ourselves permission to just not be present in that space as well, and that prevents a lot of overwhelm. I'm working on one foot in the physical and one foot in the in spirit.
Yes.
That's what I'm looking for, that balance. And sometimes I have to just switch off completely, and I give myself permission that's okay, because I've realized these guys are always there, and time is totally different. It's a blink, for them. It could be years for us, but a blink for them. So I think it's really important. And they're reminding me to tell you guys, it's okay to just switch off.
My question was, this is something that I'm personally struggling with. I'm relatively new into spirituality. And one thing I'd really struggle with is being enlightened, if you will, in a world where everyone is asleep. And I really struggle with finding people who resonate with me, and to have these enlightened thoughts and looking around me, and all of a sudden that contrast is so much stronger than it was.
Well, Erin, the way I see it, they're channeling through me while I'm talking to you. Sometimes I feel like I'm getting a tap on the shoulder, or things will just come out of my mouth. Sometimes I don't know if it's me or them. Sometimes I am very aware. But I think they want us to be aware that in the world, when we wake up, there are different levels of awareness when that happens. There are different levels of abilities. There are different levels of self-acceptance. It really comes down to one word, and that's safe. Be safe with ourselves. Yeah, we have to be safe with ourselves. And I've never ever felt unsafe with them, obviously, but I felt unsafe with myself, and that comes from a place of doubt and self-recrimination. So that's very easy, as I'm sure most of us can relate to. We're good to go. But getting back to your question there, Lynn, I think you were wanting to know a little more about the dolphins and whales. Is that right?
Yes, but now I'm like, wait a minute, let's pause for a second, because Erin, you guys were talking about amazing stuff, and I think it's, to kind of speak to your point, Erin, it's sometimes challenging to integrate this human life and our spirituality and our spirit self, I should say. It's really hard to integrate those two things. And as we start to evolve into a more spiritual space, our humanness, our programming kind of tries to pull us back. And then self-doubt comes up, and we start to, perceive people as judging us and things of that nature. So I think it's a real thing. We're human beings and we're having a human experience. But I always encourage people, don't let that self-doubt, which is just a program, stop you from your evolution. But to Anne's point, you want to do it in a pace that feels safe and comfortable. If you have to to take a step back some days, and I do that, and just lock the world out for a minute and get back to feeling safe again. That's okay too. So now I just wanted to say that, but let's go into dolphins and whales.
Thank you, because it's so very important. We have to give ourselves permission. That's just really what this is about. We have to give ourselves permission to not, do what we think we can do, all those things. So thank you. I love what you just said. Thank you. So what do you want to know about the dolphins and whales? What specific?
Well, when you're receiving messages, is it with specific clients? Is it specific times, or is it just random?
Oh, okay. So I have specific sessions set up for people. First of all, where we can do just one-on-one with them, and the dolphins and whales, I ask them to come in and channel, and they will offer their healing energy to them, and they usually visually guide me, and I speak real time what is happening, and while I'm channeling that for the people. So that's one way. So it's very specific. And then I also have a session called Healing Heart Connections, which is offered for couples, where I bring the two of them together energetically, and they're healed, and they form a beautiful heart connection. And it can also be something that's offered for a group of people, like 3 to 5, so family members or employees, things like that. So in answer to your question, yes, it's specific times that I ask for them to come in. Sometimes when I'm doing a regular reading for someone, they'll pop in. I mean, like they're here now. I can feel them and see them here and now. So they want to be heard because they have an incredible consciousness that they're helping us with, obviously. But usually it's if I ask for any particular kind of energy, or like I said, sometimes they'll come in. I was speaking to a lady. We're putting together a summit, and I was speaking to one of our potential guests, and I had an orca that was nudging me literally in the back, pushing me forward like we had to meet in person. Like, okay, I got it. So sometimes they can come just out of the blue. It just really depends.
I love that. That's so incredible. So when did this start for you? When did you start tuning into them?
Well, I just did a training and I never really thought, it's like, oh, really? Gosh, should I even think about doing this training? Because I really basically didn't think I was good enough for them, but I guess they made sure that there was a bunch of us, or a specific bunch of us that came together for the training. So okay, well, thank you. I'm very honored. So that's how it really happened. And since then, of course, there's I can tune into them and they come in.
That's awesome. So do you think that when you were younger that there were signs? I mean, were there signs that you had these abilities, or did this come later in life?
I think I've always been a very perceptive child, but I think it really, when I was around the age of 32, all those years ago, I really started having that wake up moment. I was seeing things, feeling things, and it was just way too. It was like, oh my God, what is all of this? I mean, I was literally seeing stuff and hearing stuff, and it was just too much. I didn't know how to protect myself, so I just shut it all down and said, "That's it. I'm not dealing with this." And for years, that was great. And then I started getting the tap on the shoulder. Then I'd look at my phone. It was 333-444. I'd wake up in the middle of the night, and there were those. And it's like, oh, okay, so they're connecting with me again. They're trying to get my attention. And then I realized, okay, I got to do this.
So you basically surrendered to it. You just said, okay, fine.
Yeah, there's some things in life you just can't fight.
Right? So I want to go back to your, did you say healing heart? The connection circle at Telos is all about relationship and connection and all of that. So can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Absolutely, I'd be thrilled to. It's called Healing Heart Connections. And this was all channeled by them. They actually channeled, I was sitting in a state, they channeled the decals they wanted me to put on the back of my car, right down to the images and everything, and the name of the sessions, which is Healing Heart Connections. That's their choice, not mine. And then they told me what they wanted me to do with that. So,
Awesome.
so basically, it is bringing two people together. It could be a couple who's starting a journey together in a relationship. It could be parent and child healing. It could be where there's been miscommunication or mistrust between friends. That's often in the pair, the two that come together. Or then if we want to expand it into a larger group, 3 to 5, it can be the same thing. It can be family where there needs to be some healing, where there's been some discord. It could be with employee, employer, it could be with social groups. But the most important thing is this, that I hold the space for them and I channel that energy for them. And it literally is connecting the two beings and their heart energy together. Or if we're in a group of 3 to 5, the same thing, forming a circle of heart energy and healing. And it's the most amazing thing, and it's been very successful, and it's a wonderful feeling. It's when you see this happen and when you're a witness to it, it's really beautiful. And then to hear afterwards how it's affected these couples or groups that have had this experience, and how it really has opened the door for healing in ways that they wouldn't even imagine.
That is awesome. I think, we're in relationship with everything around us and everyone, right? So and sometimes we find ourselves in a situation with someone that we love dearly, and we're just not communicating anymore. We're not connecting anymore. So bringing that back to heart center and connecting those two hearts again is incredible work as well. I have to have you in the Connection Circle live sometime. I think the people within the Connection Circle would absolutely love that and benefit from that type of work, and really that's what we're about, is teaching people how to connect again with their hearts and energetically, and not with through a visual sense. And we do the dating thing as well, but we're really more about singles coming together as friends. But really learning how to love self as well is so important. And I want to have you back in there again. I think it would be super fun.
It's so beautiful to watch. And the two people do not speak to each other during the session, which is so wonderful, because there is no need for words. What is happening to them energetically, I speak and tell them what is happening to each of them, and they can feel that in their own energies, and they can visualize that however it comes through for them. What's the word that I'm looking for? When you have an arbitrator, I'm the arbitrator. We don't sit there and have them talking to each other and trying to sort it out. That's not what it is. They just close their eyes and let the dolphins and whales bring them together and join their energies.
Wow.
That's where the healing happens. It's nonverbal. It's beautiful.
I love that. Okay. What's that?
My phone is on 1%. So I may, if that's my phone dying, and I'll go and try and charge it and rejoin. But just to let you know, sorry, I didn't want to just look as if I was disappearing out of nowhere.
Well, come back if you can. Yep, we lost her. That's okay. She'll come back if she can. Oh, there you are. It paused for a second.
Yes, I will come back. It will I think the phone will switch itself off soon, but I'll kind of come back when I can. But carry on as you were. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt.
That's okay. Yeah, I was just going to mention to Anne, because I don't know if you know this, but in the Connection Circle, we do these date nights. That's part of the membership, is to do date nights. And it's like a Zoom, getting people together. And but we start with the cameras off. So no one gets to see each other. They get to go around and talk to each individual with the camera off and choose 3 people that they were energetically connected to. Then we do another round where they get to see each other and write those 3 choices down and have some awareness around what they were actually energetically connected to versus visually. So I love that you're doing that energetic work, because people just don't, I don't think that people understand that we can communicate in that way on an energetic level.
Oh, absolutely. And that's why, I couldn't have come up with this myself. They told me exactly what they wanted and how they wanted it. And I love it because they will give distinct and clear guidance, messages, whatever you want to call it, to each individual present. And then that person can visualize that or take, however it is, it connects with them, but it gives them a sense of self, and there's no blame, no shame, nothing. It's just completely exposing their essence, allowing them to be present, allowing them to share what they want to share. And then, this is where the healing happens. It's really beautiful.
I love it. I want to be able to offer that to our people within the connection circle. And we lost Erin again. She keeps popping in and out. Darn it. Go on with any official questions or anything. Let it just be us girls sitting here chatting. But I think it's sometimes important that we ask some very, specific questions so that the audience gets a sense of the guest who is on and what they do and what they offer. But I also like it to be very authentic and casual. And I have been just so excited about coming back on, meeting with you again, because we met on Zoom once before, and it was just an introduction, basically. So we didn't get to, dive into much, but I selfishly wanted to see if you could tune in. And I don't know if it works like this for you. Can someone ask a question and
Oh, absolutely.
and then okay.
Go for it. There's already a creature here waiting.
Oh, awesome. Okay. And I'm a water sign, so it makes sense that that there's something already there.
What are you? What's your sign?
I'm Pisces.
Oh, that's why we have such a good connection. I'm Scorpio. Scorpio and Pisces, best fit ever.
Yes, we flow really well together. So
Yeah,
true. My question would be, in the romantic arena, my readiness for someone to enter my life.
They get it. So this is the beauty. We don't have to, I'm pointing over here because I could see out, in front of me here to the right, there was a white beluga whale that's come in, and it was waiting for you, apparently. Their response to you is, and this is their exact words: buoy yourself up and be ready to bob up and down. So they're showing me you like a buoy and bobbing up and down on the water. Just being there, just being open, going with the flow of the ocean. Don't worry how far you drift. It's okay. There's no final destination. It's just about you bobbing up and down and actually having fun and being very open and expansive, like you're literally in the ocean.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's incredible, because I feel like I do just want to have fun. And I want to be open to that. And I don't want to have like past self, before I did all this work, I would have wanted to control things and have expectations. And now I've stepped into this space of there are no expectations other than I want to have fun. I want to enjoy life with others. So I love that. I'm planning a move to Costa Rica because I want to be near the ocean again.
Oh,
It's a calling, it's a pulling, it's a necessity really for me to be on the ocean. And I see Costa Rica as a place where there's a lot of healing that can happen uh, for myself and others, and to be able to offer that to the connection circle.
I love that. I love that. And your beautiful beluga whale, yes, is nodding like, yes, that's a good thing. And so you might be having a guest.
Yes.
One of my personal things is being a water sign myself, I want to be by the water. And people keep saying, oh, do you have to go into the water to do the dolphin? No, you don't. They will
Yeah.
often take you to the ocean, energetically. But one of my fondest things is to actually set up shop, if you like, near the ocean, so I can go have a fully immersive experience with them as well in their natural habitat, which would be awesome.
Yes.
But yes, they're nodding that yes, and they're just reminding me to thank you, to tell you this, that this is the beauty of the grief work too, and the healing heart connections, because when people do come together and they do their grief work, or even individually do their grief work, they're getting rid of all that junk so they can enter into a relationship without all of that stuff. Which is so important because we take it with us wherever we go. It's so
Yes.
funny because when this beautiful beluga came in and saying, well, you're just going to be bobbing around. You're not going to have. There's just going to be like, oh my god. I always get anxious because like people usually have expectations of, oh, I'm going to find the one or whatever, and it's like, no,
Right.
you're just going to bob around and have fun. But you see, that's exactly what you can't make this stuff up.
And it's so spot on. No, it's just you're totally in tune with what I already knew. But it's sometimes I think when we receive something intuitively or from our higher self, it feels really good to be validated. It just to hear you say that, it's like, dang, I was right. What I was receiving was right.
Yeah.
Um,
And that's
not
often
that
what happens with people. They will get validation, which is fantastic. And if I may share with you, this beautiful being is now vertical, and I'm looking at their heart literally like a beautiful
I,
circle. Thank you. I call it the heart thump, and I've experienced that before with a beautiful blue whale. That she was just amazing. It's just you just can't make this stuff up,
yeah.
It's just a beautiful. I call it a heart thump because that's what it looks like, and this beautiful being is radiating that for both of us. So thank you for that gift. But yeah, going to Costa Rica. And I love how they do validate for us, because sometimes that's all we need is a yes or a no. And I have
Yes.
that happen a lot with people.
Yes. And that's so true, because even if we open ourselves up to receiving messages, again, like, we were just talking about a moment ago, you kind of get pulled back into that humanity, those limiting beliefs and self-doubt. And it takes practice to pull from that and to really submit yourself and embrace the unknown.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do just want to tell you and your audience, if I may,
Yes.
every second Monday of the month, I do a free online dolphin whale guided meditation. So if you would like, I can send you that link and you can put it in
Yes.
here. And I limit it to 10 people.
Okay.
It is not recorded. You do need to show up, and
Okay.
nobody's allowed to record. I don't record. Nobody else is allowed to record, so that there is complete 100% safety for you to be fully present and to be able to express yourself without having to worry about anybody else hearing it.
I love that.
It's a way of people feeling safe. So it's a really beautiful
Yes.
cocoon for people.
Yes.
Sure.
That's so beautiful. That's awesome. And yes, absolutely. So, in conclusion, what we'll do is we'll put the video on YouTube and my other social media platforms, and I will put those links, whatever links you have, I will put those links in there so that people can find you. And I want to participate in that myself. If there's enough room, I'm going to invite other people because I think you're amazing. I think you're totally tuned in and to a frequency that not all of us can tune into. It's it comes and goes for me. But when I'm connecting with people like you, I can feel it even more exponentially. And it's such an awesome feeling. So, but I definitely want to have you back in the connection circle again. I would love to have you back. And I know that our audience will love to hear more about what you do. So thank you. Thank you for entertaining my personal question.
Anytime. And I do just want to put out there, if I may, anybody can do energy work. Please don't feel that you have to go and be specially schooled. All you have to do is ask for help to say, hey, I want to learn about this. And you'd be amazed what shows up for you. So you have the ability, everyone has the ability, we just have to believe in it. And sometimes, I need validation sometimes.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how long you do it, it's nice to know, so just hearing you say what you wanted and then having that validated, that's how this works. But I would like to just say thank you. I always say thank you to whomever comes through. So thank you for our channeling, and thank you for this beautiful beluga whale that came in to give you your answers, and our beautiful heart thumps. Thank you.
Yes, that is so amazing. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So we will sign off for now, and we'll see more of Anne in the near future. And we'll put the links to in our social media platforms on how to contact her. And we'll see you soon, friends. And as I always say, pour some love into it and live telos. I'm going to stop recording there and stay on with me, though.
I love that Beluga has not come through before. And he's still here. He's just, he's so